funeral.
And Amy was at the funeral. I had lost it when they closed the casket.
She lost it. She threw up. She was.
I was throwing up everywhere.
Yep.
I couldn't breathe.
Driving after she threw up.
I'm now, after over a year of fighting with everybody, I'm going back to mental health counseling. I'm getting grief counseling, getting something for anxiety. I take anxiety pills as it is. I also have to take a lot of medications for my back. I have 2 herniated discs with sciatic and degenerative disc disease with a partial knee.
Do you have any addictions to pills?
Huh?
Do you have pills addictions?
No.
Does she have what?
Pill addictions.
Oh, she doesn't have a
That's
pill
huge in
addiction,
Florida.
No,
She takes that for pain management. It's not.
I go to actually. I have a
Should
pain
we have her
doctor.
come up here?
No.
Okay.
I'd like to talk to her.
She's not going to.
Oh.
We love you.
Yeah, she just can't do that.
Have you thought about ever calling the human trafficking hotlines or anything like that? Or
no, because if I can give the girls a place to rest and get some help.
Like her, have you ever thought about calling a human trafficking task force
No.
and saying, "Hey, there's these guys that are coming out"?
No, because you can never see the guys that's with them.
Right.
They stay hidden.
They stay hidden.
How about can you see their pimps? The pimps are usually off in the corner.
Not over here, they're not.
So what happens if she doesn't come home with enough money?
If she don't come home with enough money or with what she's supposed to, she's gonna get her ass beat.
It's see, I don't really think she's out here by choice.
But I do have a couple girls out here that are out here by choice that I know.
Have you ever thought about I mean, like, would they talk to us or I'm always interested.
They're not going to talk
because they don't want to.
We're the best you can get, probably.
Yeah. Right here is about the best you're going to
no
get.
offense, but I'm always interested in the psychology and the research.
I mean,
I'm not an official researcher, by the way, because there's people out there that are always fond of telling me that I'm not an official investigator, I'm not an official this, official that.
I get told that.
But anyway, hey, I'm doing some unofficial research for my.
But they're not going to talk because one, they don't want their business out there,
And then they don't trust me.
and it's very hard for
Well, I
them
have
to
millions
trust.
of viewers.
I'm not gonna-
Facebook, and their pimp could see this and kill them.
I mean, I don't want to offend anybody and get anybody hurt.
I mean, I got a couple of the girls, and there's a few guys out here.
Yeah. You actually see guys out here doing.
Can
I
you hide my
have-
cigarette?
I have a male.
I'm sorry.
I have a male
I
friend
can't hold myself in
that is bisexual. He is out here, but he's independent.
By
They-
independent,
they
mean
trust us
is
because
he
we're not
supporting an
snitches.
addiction?
He's supporting an addiction. But he also works at the gay club stripping.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a lot of guys.
He's not just out
That's
here.
right.
Yeah.
They say.
But nowadays, the pimps aren't putting their girls on the block
They're putting them on Backpage.
Yes.
because it's a little bit safer.
It's safer, then it's also more anonymous,
That, and it's also more profitable.
and they're because it's perceived that they're more upscale if they're, and then they get dropped off and.
Depends.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked Backpage. That's what I did this last round, and I made bukus of money. I got pictures of me without.
What kind of clients?
Really, Amy?
Sorry. What kind of, I'm sorry, Amy. What kind of clients did you have? I mean,
I had.
It wasn't poor people. It was rich people, right? Normally.
It was
Frat boys.
guys, frat boys, college boys.
Yeah.
It was. Amy, I'm gonna have to take another shower.
I'm sorry. I'll shower you. Hold on.
Amy done spilled her whole beer on me, guys.
All right. No, but the reason people trust us is because we don't.
We got some pretty hot.
We just help.
We got a guy from CNN watching on my Facebook page.
Yeah,
He's,
we help people. We don't put. All we want to do is be there for when they want to get better.
I mean, some of the girls, like I said, I'll feed them. I've been known to feed them, let them come in, take a shower, wash their clothes.
Again, my
If
name
they
is,
need a safe, secure place to get high, I'll let them go to my basement.
Right.
My thing is like I tell them, clean up your mess. I don't want to see none of it. I don't want to smell it.
Right.
I'm going to do another.
We need to have safe houses where they can do that.
Well, right now, Franklin County has opened up a needle exchange.
Right.
And I found out from the CPD.
They're the safe point. Did they tell you that?
My name is John Meekins, and I'm here in Columbus, Ohio, and we're doing some research.
CPD said that the needle exchange unit place that people can go shoot up at now, they give them the whole kit.
I'm with.
The tie off, the syringe, the whole nine. They give them all of it.
Good.
And put them in a room, and that way there, if a If they overdose,
right?
they can get Narcan quicker. There's nurses on hand.
I don't know. The parents are calling me telling me Narcan sucks because their kids are having it on deck, and then they're just like, I'm talking rich kids and shit, and well, whoever kids, and they're just.
Well, you can buy Narcan over the counter now.
I know, but they're using it as a crutch instead of it. They're just doing as much shit as they can and doing the Narcan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a catch-20. It does save a life, and you know they're happy about that. But now their kids are like, woo, let's get as much shit as we can.
The first time I seen someone OD on heroin,
Right.
he snuck off to the bathroom. I was at a friend's house. I got picked up from work by my little brother. We stopped at his girlfriend's apartment to drop his girlfriend's roommate and her friend off. He went in the bathroom while we were there, and I had to call the squad, and I had to call my husband, Jerron, at the time, scared to death because I didn't know what to do. And as soon as the squad got there, they shot him with Narcan, and he didn't even know that he had OD'd. He didn't even know what was going on.
Then what happens?
And
They're ready for more heroin.
They took him to the hospital.
Did you want to introduce yourself and or anything to the audience out there, or?
I'm Misty.
Last one. Just, what are we doing? We're hanging out with Amy.
I'm Amy, one of her best friends.
And one of my advocates.
One of her advocates.
And who are you?
I'm Amy Wicks. In the Name of Justice is my organization, and From Privilege to Prison is my book. And I'm a constitutionalist. I'm a human rights activist.
So we're like fellow. We're like fellow activists. Just same mission, different.
Correct. And
path.
Misty is an interventionist with me.
I try to intervene when I can. Sorry, one of my kids is messaging me.
But like she said, you were introduced to the gang because you married an OG.
Uh-huh.
And he just did 12, 11 years?
No, that's not who I was introduced by, but the guy that I had been waiting on for almost 11 years to come home from federal prison.
Right. Is that at the Alvis house?
Is at the Alvis house, and I just found out a couple days ago that he had been seeing someone else after I've been putting my all into him for the last 6 months. I went in debt. I've been going in debt for this man. Just to find out that he was seeing someone else.
Right.
But I'm not one to dwell on anything no more.
You don't care.
I bounce back.
That's right.
And I'm going to bounce back because what he don't realize is, like I told him, you can't drop a queen for a joker.
That's right, bitch. You can't
And
have a queen for a joker.
I'm going to be a queen all day long.
Yes.
I don't need a man to do nothing. I'm the one that pays my rent. I pay my bills. Don't nobody pay nothing but me. I also maintain taking care of my children and was helping to take care of his children that aren't mine. So I keep it moving, and I'm going to keep it moving.
Keep it moving, baby.
Because there's only one way up. There's no time for me to take 10 steps back no more. I'm about to be 34 in 10 days. I don't got that to do.
You've been through a lot.
I'm also a victim of DV.
Domestic violence.
Yes,
What other kinds of what other forms of trauma? Have you ever been through any kind of trauma therapy, or do you think that you would benefit from
I'm actually, that's going to be part of my therapy.
like PTSD?
I have PTSD. I have severe PTSD.
How about triggers? Yeah.
If I hear, at this point, if I hear firecrackers, a backfire from a car, or anything that resembles the sound of a gunshot, I freak out.
So, if there's a correction, if you showed up at the county jail tonight,
I am.
I just got into it.
That's the one you just got in a fight with? All right, Misty got in a fight with her.
I didn't, well, I had a
What did
confrontation.
a confrontation? So you told her what?
I told her to keep it moving, and here she is right back.
oh, she's moving.
Right.
Oh,
So,
Okay.
she, see what I mean?
She's on.
She's high as a kite right
Where are the
now.
cops? I don't want the cops. I mean, but I'm just saying.
Precinct's 2.5 blocks up.
And she's just yelling.
She's just out here yelling. She just came probably from the dope house.
And the dope house.
I got a dope house.
There's a
Two
dope
houses
house
down.
everywhere.
And then, of course, the people, not the ones that you met that came over here,
Yeah, not them.
but the ones above them are all dope fiends.
Right.
The very end house over this way is nothing but dope fiends.
And it's no big secret.
And they don't keep it a secret.
Right.
Because I'm also assistant property manager over here. We're trying to get all of this cleaned up because we have
Yeah, you're fixing this house up for your landlord, right?
I'm fixing this house up, and I also help screen new tenants. Stating we're implementing some new rules and regulations at this point. Any new tenant, if they are caught or we suspect that they're involved in any type of illegal or drug activity, it's a cause for immediate eviction.
Is
That's what my landlord
What kind
did.
of housing is this? Like Section 8? Or,
No,
or is it,
my landlord does not take Section 8.
what are the
You have to have an income.
Uh-huh.
You have to be able to pay your rent, your bills. He wants people in here that's going to take care of the property and not destroy.
And not start up a...
And that's understandable.
His wife is a recovering addict.
His wife is a recovering addict.
So therefore, he does not want the drug activity. And which is, completely understandable, because I don't feel comfortable bringing my children here. If my son is going to look outside and be like, Mom, what is she doing? Mom, what is that? My son he's a country boy. I'm sorry. My son's 13 and has a better shot than some of you grown-ass men out here.
That's right.
He can hit a deer from 300 yards with a bow and arrow.
With
And
a
then
bow
I got an 18-year-old daughter that is on here talking about Mom.
What did she say?
She said, anybody that gets with you better treat you right or I'm coming out there.
So am I.
And my daughter, mind you, is about barely 5 foot tall,
And I'm 5
but
foot.
she's feisty.
She's feisty.
But then again, you got to think of who their mama is.
Yeah, and it's not the size of the dog, it's the size of the bite
Because
of the dog.
I've been shot at over breaking the teeth out of a hooker's mouth. Because my 2 nieces almost got raped because they brought a John into the yard.
Right.
So I broke her teeth out of her mouth. Sorry, but when it comes to kids, the kids are I'll break my back, I'll die for a kid.
I feel you.
Any day, all day. And right now, there's small children around here.
Yes, there are. They're watching everything.
And
They're right there.
the Hilltop and Hiltonia, there's actually a page on Facebook
There is?
called the West Side. I think it's West Side Prostitutes and Johns or something like that.
Yeah.
They actually take pictures of the girls standing at the corners and shame them.
What?
Yes, because they're trying to clean up the Hiltonia area.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it's brought the cops out to start doing more stings. A couple weeks ago, CPD on the West Side alone did 2 different stings. One of the stings brought in over 100 arrests. The second sting brought in about 70. And it was not just the girls, but it was the Johns.
Yeah, I know that.
What do you think about the people that say that we should go after the men, the customers, and not the girls?
I mean,
There's a lot of people that are saying there's a demand. Like they're saying, hey,
I feel
she
that...
wouldn't be there if there wasn't a guy paying for it. So in the criminal justice system, there's a lot of movement, like where they're saying, hey, why don't we lock up all the customers? Out in Phoenix, they have a campaign that's buy sex, lose everything.
Well, when I was escorting this last time...
So I can get you guys, okay? So
What-
hold on. I'm going to sit in front of you.
Okay.
And I'm going to do that.
When I was escorting this last round, I escorted from the end of December until the beginning of...
Uh-huh.
I had noticed a lot of my clientele was married men.
Yeah.
I had one client, he would come in as soon as he would hit the door and take his wedding band off and put it in his pocket.
Were they the same customers all the time?
I had quite a few regulars. But I also had...
You can come over here if you want.
I also had some men that wasn't just about the sex.
They're about...
It was about the
Talking.
companionship.
Yeah.
Because your wife wasn't...
The wife wasn't sufficing what they needed.
Your wife didn't do this or do that. Or...
I also have dealt with, because some of my pictures on my back page
Yeah, well, I want to see your pictures.
was
No, I don't.
my sister did them. We did a photo shoot at her house on her
my
bed.
gay friends and mine. I didn't do back pages. I was plenty of fish.
There is pictures of me with whips and chains and advertising me as fetish friendly.
Fetish friendly tends to be a trafficking term.
That is friendly.
I'm domination. I practiced a lot in
But you
domination.
can make more for that because of the kinkiness, right?
Right.
And so you can charge more for the act.
I honestly, and I'm gonna get a little bit graphic here. I had a client. He drove an hour and a half away to come and see me for an hour. He only stayed 30 minutes. When he got out of his vehicle, he had something wrapped up in a cloth, real long and skinny, and a bag. He gets in, and I'm like, okay, so he don't mention nothing about a fetish or nothing. We get to the room and everything, and he pulls out a whip and chains and one of the gag masks with the blindfold, the leather thing that ties around the head. And he was like, I want you to beat me. Here's our safe words.
Oh, safe words? Okay.
So red was stop, yellow was slow down, and green was go.
How about foliage?
Huh?
You never use foliage as a safe word?
No.
Never heard of it.
And he actually had me, I actually had to call the dude I was seeing at the time when I got done.
Yeah.
And was like, are you sitting down? He was like, why? And I said, well, wait until I tell you about my morning. I got paid $150. And all I did with this man was I made him my bitch. My dude at the time was like...
Should people feel bad for you?
My dude
No.
said that he thought I got off on it because dude had me beat him with a whip.
Right.
Homeless from the end of December, right after
Because of what happened to
Christmas,
Jaron.
until the middle of April,
Right.
because I lost everything behind my husband's death.
Right.
Lost
I just
my
don't want
job.
people to judge you because you're one of the strongest women I know.
I lost my job.
Right.
I had to sell my car.
Right.
I lost everything I'd stood for.
Right.
I had been doing so good
Yes.
that it was nothing for me to go spend $100 on a Friday at a restaurant for us to have dinner and drinks.
Right.
It was nothing for my husband to walk around rocking a $200 gold chain
Right.
with diamonds in it.
Working the right way.
Because I was working a real job and I got paid weekly. I paid all of our rent. My husband didn't work because I didn't need him to.
Right.
For what? What? I spoiled him. I had the opportunity to do that.
And he was in school.
And he was getting ready to start school.
Right.
Only reason he went back to work a week before he got killed was because he had gotten court ordered to child support $250 a month.
Right.
For a child he had never gotten to lay eyes on. Because the female, being
I know.
stupid,
Right.
but I mean, he was still wanting to be a father. He was willing to take on that responsibility.
Right.
And that's the only reason he went back to work.
How
So,
So what's the difference between so that girl that's out there walking around, if she went on Backpage, would she be able to make any premium money, or would she like, would word get around that she's a,
depends on if she's got a pimp or not.
yeah.
And what
you know?
about sexual diseases? How do people protect themselves for those?
I myself, I went to a place here in the city
Right.
where they do free testing every day. Either they do it or the health department does it, but you get some of your results right then and there. HIV and Hep C. I went to them, told them what I was doing.
Right.
Well, where they give out free condoms, I was getting the sleeves that they normally open to put in the containers. They was giving me 2 packs of regular, 2 packs of large.
And how do you know the guy doesn't have disease? That's why you're using the condom.
And
Not
every
for you.
time I slept with the clients, I had a condom.
Right.
If it broke, I grabbed another one. Matter of fact, I have 2 big baskets upstairs still full.
I might have to borrow a couple.
And I've
if I
been
ever
celibate.
Happen to get lucky.
Honestly, I've been celibate for 3.5 months up until a couple days ago.
Good for you.
But it was someone I'd already slept with prior, like before.
Right.
So if I'm looking to buy somebody on Backpage, but I want to make sure I'm not buying somebody that's being forced.
You're not going to know.
You're not gonna know.
How am I going to know if she's being forced and she's got a pimp and the guy's going to beat the crap out of her if I don't pay her enough, or
You're not going to know. She's given an exact amount that she has to start out at. She's given a price that she has to start with. And there's leeway to work your way down into the prices.
And so how does
Me,
that,
myself, I wouldn't know how that exactly works with the pimps
Yeah.
because I was independent. I wasn't being forced. I wasn't doing it for a drug habit.
Right.
Everything I made came into my pocket. And I had guys ask me, do you got a pimp? Are you independent?
yeah.
And then a lot of these girls, what they don't realize is they get busted because of one simple, small rule. And it's because they don't think. They're in too hurry to get that money to get their pimp.
What happens if somebody that has a pimp? What happens when they get arrested? Do they have like
Sometimes he'll go bond them out.
almost always who bonds them out?
He will get somebody to go.
Who does he get?
It depends. One of his buddies or another girl or...
Is it almost always the same person?
No.
No.
Most of the time, no.
Have you ever heard of prepaid bonds? That's where I've had women talk to me about how they'll pay the bondsman every week. They'll pay him maybe.
Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
See, Florida has different slang than us.
Right. See,
You'll
here
pay
in
ahead of
Franklin
time?
County, it's called a retainer. We call it retainers.
So you got retainers.
So you have bondsmen on deck.
There's bondsmen on deck. There's also lawyers on deck.
Right. Lawyers and bondsmen. Just
My ex, his dad had a lawyer on deck for any of us.
You caught being on deck, not on.
It means on deck.
Retainer. It means that they've already been paid in advance and they're getting so much every week or every month.
Just in case. And then
just in case anything happens.
And then what happens? You get busted. They're right down there.
They're already there.
Before you even get to the police station.
Basically.
And the police complain about it because they're like, you know, what's the point of even trying to get these girls help and getting them in the jail when they're out in 5 seconds? And the pimps.
So,
and I'm like, I don't know, you guys. That's not my problem.
Is there like a body language of somebody that you could tell that's got a pimp and they're just like trying to get the hell out because they already got the bond and they know the bond's being paid?
I've never been in that situation, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's just, I'm interested in, you know.
I've had a guy try to be my pimp, and he got fooled real quick.
Yeah.
Well, I have friends
and that was when I caught my one and only soliciting charge.
Yeah.
And the problem with that case, the reason why it got dropped and thrown out, it's on my record, but I didn't do no jail time or nothing, was because when I got in the car with the guy, I asked him flat out, are you a cop? And he told me no.
Mm-hmm.
But everything was on recording.
Yeah.
And when he supposedly was getting ready to hand me my money, he pulled out a badge instead.
Yeah.
That was entrapment.
All right.
Was he a new cop?
No, he was an undercover. Out on the east.
Hi, my name's John Meekins, and I'm with Amy Wicks, and what do you do, Amy?
I run an organization called In the Name of Justice, and I wrote a book, From Privilege to Prison. I just finished a House Bill 497. I go into the prisons and speak, and we're interventionists also because we are not, we are about guiding people into the solution. We're not about anything else.
Incarceration.
I'm for decriminalization, honestly, if you want to know the truth.
You're decriminalization of what?
Decriminalization of everything. But, I mean, because people self-govern, God gives free will, no one's ever going to change that, and everyone has a choice. And so people do what they do, and they learn from their mistakes, and they grow, or they don't. I mean, it's just that simple. They get sick and tired of being sick and tired, or they don't, and they never wear out. And
I think what really woke me up was my husband getting killed.
Right.
That was reality. That was a reality to what these streets are really about. Because my husband wasn't in the streets.
So you were what kind of a gang? You were a Hoover Crip?
I'm affiliated with the Hoover Crip. With 7-4.
There's so many gangs.
So how many? What?
Well, I'm affiliated with West Coast.
Yeah.
I'm not affiliated with nothing out here. Bloods and Crips can get along. I have the way it sits with the way my standard is, and my situation is the fact that there's not a Blood nor a Crip that can touch me.
Right.
Without having to get authorization.
The Bloods or Crips can't touch her. And even though she's out of it, they'll still protect her in the
Right. I'm protected by both sets.
Because you're laying low.
I'm laying low. Not just laying. It's not about me laying low. It's about I don't do nothing out here to draw the attention.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do know in some states at this point in time, West Coast specifically, Bloods and Crips are coming together.
Yes, they are.
To fight against
the Mexican.
No. To fight against law enforcement because of our blacks being killed for no reason by white cops. Sorry, I don't affiliate myself with being fully white. When you look at my facial features, I am actually Cherokee Indian, German, Irish, and Scandinavian. I'm not white. So, by any means, just like I had a bout with 2 cops in the back of my house 2 weeks ago over a guy that tried to drag me in some stuff.
Yeah.
I called him on him.
Right.
They didn't do nothing about it. They got scared because I brought my pit bull outside.
Right.
Who, mind you, she's a medical animal.
Okay.
She's for anxiety. Yeah. There's a hooker right there, and there's one of the dope boys.
You don't, I mean, nothing's going to happen to them. This is how they do it.
He sells meth and heroin. He's one of the runners.
He's just a runner.
And then she's a new one. She just started coming out here.
She just started coming out here. Why do you think she's out here?
She's older than me.
Not elderly, but I don't. She's my age.
And I run them out of my yard every day, all day.
Why?
I'm constantly out in my backyard yelling people to get out of my yard.
Yeah, when we got up here, she was yelling at them. I mean, she
Because it draws attention to my house. And I'm not doing nothing.
Right.
You don't need cops showing up.
I don't need cops just showing up
Or
here.
freaking I mean, people that are just a mess.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Have I been known to sell dope? Yes. That's what my last charge was possession.
That was a long time ago.
I've had my door kicked in the bottoms 3 times in the 8-day frame, and the only reason I couldn't get pinned was I was already in the penitentiary. At other people running shit. I was locked up, and the same landlord will still rent to me to this day because I wasn't around.
Right.
And he's a lawyer.
Wow.
So, but I'm trying to move forward.
You are moving forward.
The
You're not
streets ain't what's up. These streets, they only gonna land you in a couple places. Either you're gonna be 6 feet under, in a box, or you're gonna be behind bars.
The
They're
three
at-
dots. The 3 dots.
Huh?
The 3 dots.
The 3 dots?
Yeah, My Crazy Life, but for prison, jail, for
You're either
prison, hospital, or the grave.
right, prison, hospital, or the grave. And guess what? I think my creator, because I don't do the God thing. I don't do the heaven and hell.
Missy, go
I'm
ahead.
spiritual.
You're not this even.
My husband is not in heaven. He's not in hell. He's right here beside me
Yeah, he is.
as a glob of energy. He's never left me.
I know. He's
Still to this day, my neighbors that's in my my old apartment
Yeah.
tells me that he's over there. They've seen a white figure
They have?
by their bed in our old
I
bedroom.
think so.
Then my dog, where I got my husband's ashes, my dog jumps up on the wall and tries to chase something. So, actually, Amy, let me go grab something.
But you
real
know
quick.
how I feel he's in heaven. 'cause
Can
you
you
know
run
how-
out back and make sure my car is
Oh, I know it's fine. My neighbors was just out there.
Okay.
If something was wrong, she would have called me.
Yeah, and we'll go.
I just want to make sure it's not getting busted into.
I'm trying to put my shorts down a little bit.
Because there's
so-
beer in the back seat.
Now I have to say,
Oh, ain't
I feel
nobody.
police officers
My
are
dog will
families.
go nuts.
I feel there's some very good police officers in the community, and I also feel that there are gang members killing each other constantly. I mean, when I do gang intervention, when we talk to the kids, we're like, you guys, yeah. And also, white people are as crazy as black people, first off. And second of all, the kids are killing each other more than the cops. So admit that.
See what you guys are doing to our streets?
What's that?
Is that
This
Jared?
is an innocent man.
This is Jared.
Ashes. That I only get to talk to my husband by looking at him on a fireplace. Or when he's around my neck because I have a piece where he's in my necklace. This is what you guys are doing to our streets. Whether it's
A
cops,
cop did not kill Jared.
a cop didn't kill him, but a guy who had no sense to go get a fucking job
Right.
and wanted to rob an innocent man because
he's in a
we were in a Mercedes Benz, thinking that we sold drugs, but we didn't. My husband is in this box. This is what you guys are doing to your people, to our people. Innocent lives are being taken for what? $1? The mighty dollar? Go out there and get it like everybody else. Put the guns down.
Put the guns down.
Let's go back to how we used to be. If you can't take an ass whooping, oh well, walk off like a man or a woman. But this is not what's up. You're destroying lives. This man has 2 kids that will never know who he is. Will never get to see him. He was a good ass man. He was 28 years old. 28, and would have gave you the shirt off his back to be gunned down for what? A $200 necklace that was bought at Walmart?
Is that what they got?
That's what they tried to get. It was found outside my car. They had broke it off his neck. And my husband was trying to get out the car to beat the dude's ass. Dude couldn't handle taking an ass whooping. When Jerron proposed to me on April 3rd, 2013, I was still legally married to someone else, and I was escorting at that time. Had been raped and attacked just a couple days prior to that and had stitches in my hands. because I fought off my attacker in my hotel room. While Jerron was just up the street and he felt bad because he couldn't protect me.
Why didn't you
He
call the
couldn't
cops?
save me.
Why didn't you call the cops?
Because at that time, I was working for someone, but it was a female. We were a team.
The two girls.
I went ahead. I did what I had to do. There was no point in me calling the cops. I took care of it myself.
Yeah,
He walked out leaking. They found his blood trailing from my hotel out. So I sliced him because I keep a knife. I'm a convicted felon. I'm only allowed to own a knife.
Yeah, you don't have guns. No fire.
Actually, state of Ohio law.
That we know of. That we know of.
State of Ohio law, we're allowed to own shotguns.
We are?
Oh, let's all go
You
get
swear?
shotguns.
I'm
Go get
getting a
shotguns.
shotgun.
All right, shotguns for
No,
everybody.
I'm not, because I
know
do
why?
what you do.
Because we can't conceal.
I believe, because we can't what?
We can't conceal them, they say.
Oh,
So
and
we're
you-
allowed to have shotguns?
Yeah, and you have to hunt.
Because I was going to get a pig.
I have a hunting license.
Oh.
She has a hunting.
My parents are on 30-some acres of private land that we hunt all year long. We hunt rabbit, we hunt squirrel, we hunt deer. That's why my son can shoot.
Listen, I'm being threatened by a person with a gun. I'm being stalked. My family's being stalked. So at the end of the day, just simply for protection, I would never shoot anybody. But at the end of the day, I don't have my rights to bear arms. And all my friends do carry guns, and I'm a non-violent person.
I have
I'm a peace
petitioned
activist.
Franklin County courts.
But I didn't know we were allowed at
Because
this point we're in danger.
I went under all the Ohio state laws, revised codes, the whole nine.
Okay.
In the state of Ohio, a convicted felon can get their gun rights and own and possess and operate a firearm under the guideline that they have no dope charge, no violent crime. Only thing holding me back is a dope case. I petitioned my judge, which is Judge Sheeran.
I know Judge Sharon.
I petitioned him to do an expungement
What did he say?
on just the dope case.
And
He told me he would, if he denied it in the courtroom, I'd never be able to file again. So he wanted me to pull my request in case the constitutional statutes ever change.
Okay.
Because
And they're
I
always
have
changing.
multiple.
And they're always changing.
yep.
And that's what he said. He said they're always changing. He said the minute they change, he said you file again. He said, and I will release your rights and give you your gun rights.
Hands up for Judge Sharon.
Yeah.
He's on my Facebook page.
So Judge Sheeran, and
Thank you, Judge
the
Sheeran.
bad part about it was my felony probation officer from my last case was in the courtroom doing revokes. And when he seen me, he said, I have no problem
Hey.
testifying.
I have a friend on my Facebook page.
Yes.
Wave to
Mary?
the sex trafficking intervention unit.
Lisa.
Lisa Wicks Leary.
Thank you, Lisa.
Hi.
She's with the sex trafficking intervention research out in Arizona.
The sex trafficking
Phoenix.
research team out in
Arizona State University.
State University is watching. Thank you, Lisa, for your hard work to protect people like us and people that need advocates just as much as we are advocates.
Yeah.
So God bless you. God bless you.
She's good friends with one of my friends who is Dominique Rhodes Setbowitz, who is done a lot of groundbreaking work in the field of social work with survivors of sex trafficking, human trafficking, and just overall human rights.
And you human rights. And also you love Judge Herbert, right?
Yeah, he's one of my heroes.
Judge Herbert's one of your heroes.
Yeah, he thinks maybe I'm crazy because I like email him too much. But
all the judges think I'm a nutcase, but they like
but
it, I think.
I love Judge Herbert. He's like one of my heroes. And
He's one
one
of your
of these
heroes.
days, Judge Herbert, he's gonna like say, "Hey, I know Meekins. Hey, I want Meekins. I want his autograph." And I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna be able to like respond to all Judge Herbert's emails because I'm so busy, doing it big.
That's right. Go big or go home. So right
Yeah.
now, Judge Herbert, you email him too much, but someday
And
he's
as far as my modeling goes, Amy, I had to put it on hold.
What kind of modeling do
You
Because
should
I
see her
needed-
modeling pictures. I'll give them
I
you.
needed $2,000 to do my classes, or $2,500, and it
What
was
classes?
either it was for me to learn how to walk the runway,
The catwalk.
the catwalk, how to walk in high heels because I have issues with heels because of a condition in my leg.
Uh-huh.
I have a partial knee.
So what are the? You said that you've. Tell me about your PTSD and what you think causes it.
My PTSD originally was diagnosed from being in prison.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Abuse. I'm a victim of domestic violence. I actually am awaiting to see an ear, nose, and throat specialist to have my nose reconstructed.
Who is beating you?
I had an ex that was beating me on a daily before I went to prison. He's the reason I went to prison.
Is it because of your narcotic? Why would you get into narcotics? Is it because you're covering up pain?
I am actually on pain medication for a condition in my back.
Yeah.
I have degenerative disc disease, which eventually I'll be paralyzed. I also have a partial knee. I have trouble walking. I can't stand for long periods. I have to wear a knee brace and a back brace in order to take this job.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put all of that in. The pain medicine is going to be able to help me get through my days at work, being on my feet for 10 to 15 hours a day.
This is one of my human trafficking people, is Natasha Nascimento. She's from South Africa, and she has a really good program for the kids, for trafficked women, or for trafficked
And that's the
children.
thing, a lot of these females out here, they're getting knocked up, and when they get pregnant, they don't know if it's the pimp's baby. They don't know if it's the client's baby.
Correct.
So what happens when they get to prison and they're pregnant? What happens to the babies?
Depends.
I write about it in my book.
Depends on what their charges are
Do they,
and how much time they have.
Do they sell the kids?
Marysville, where I was about to say Maryhaven. Marysville, which is the main prison here in Ohio for women, has a particular program for pregnant girls. Once they give birth to their baby, if they have less than 18 months or less,
Yeah, that's right.
18 months or less,
Yep.
they actually get to keep their baby. But it also depends on
A lot of
their
different factors.
charges.
And what are the kind of charges that'll?
They can't have a violent crime.
And what if
I couldn't, because I had a violent
You
crime. I
can't
couldn't
have
do
a
shit.
violent crime. You can't have. And I am an inmate who did IPP.
what's IPP?
I did the intense
the boot
prison.
camp.
I did boot camp for 90 days
Yeah.
with my medical conditions. So now when people yell at me, especially a man, if you're in my face and you're yelling at me,
Right.
And they're getting spittle in your.
It makes us freak
my
out.
first instinct is to haul off and crack you in the mouth.
That's right.
I can be very violent. None of my crimes are violence, but I have a lot of anger. And over the last year, my anger has piled
Yep.
Yeah.
because I've not had no outlets.
Yep.
So have you thought about any kind of like anger management?
I'm getting ready to start counseling. I've already met with my counselor. The quickest that they could get me into a new psych doctor is the 15th of this month. I'm seeing a new psych doctor, at which time I may be placed on benzodiazepams, which could be Valium, Klonopin, or Xanax.
But you need it, or you're gonna
But I
fucking
need it.
live.
I desperately need it because I have issues with yelling. I have a problem with being alone.
Me too.
But these last few months,
Are you talking about issues with what do they call that? Where you're abandonment?
it's not really abandonment.
You need your lighter.
It's not really abandonment. It's my husband and I spent every waking moment together
Yeah.
for almost 4 years. The last 2 years of our relationship, which was of our marriage, it's a bunch of, they're just drunk and,
We'll find.
the last 2 years of my husband's life, we spent together 24/7. If we weren't at work, we was together. Wherever you seen him, you seen me. When you seen me, you seen him. So with that being said, it's created a situation to where now I'm a lot clingier.
Yeah.
If I get close to you and I'm in a relationship with you, I end up pushing people away because I get too clingy. And it's because I have a fear now that you're going to walk out the door and that's going to be the last time I see you.
Because it's a healthy. Now you're healthy. So you have an issue with healthy relationships.
Yes.
So would that
it's
be like
created-
something that maybe the prisons could be addressing? Before
I
you get
mean,
out? What kind of things could they be doing that they're
the
not
prison
doing?
ain't the reason I have that issue
No,
now.
but wait, like if somebody shows up with 3 years, like for the sake of argument, let's say you wound up, like it's all of a sudden you showed up at Marysville with a 3-year sentence today, sake of argument, what could they do starting
Hypothetically.
today? Hypothetically, what could they start doing today that would make you? Somebody that was in your position, the 21-year-old you coming to prison, having been abused, having been, doing involved
Counseling.
But what,
Stop giving medication that's going to make us zombified.
Yeah, fuck that.
Because they put me on Geodon.
They're putting on everything.
They had me on Geodon while I was in admissions during one of my terms.
There's another corrections officer. He's in New Jersey.
A New
Brian-
Jersey correction officer?
Brian Avila.
We have
And
many COs following my Facebook page.
when they put me on the Geodon,
Brian.
it was so bad that I was actually falling asleep standing up in the chow line.
Yeah.
You can't keep us doped up in prison.
That's right. We're all
We need to
doped up.
face our reality.
How long is
Fuck
pill
yeah,
line?
we do.
Is pill line like every day, and if you miss
Pill
it,
lines every day. If
And
you
it
miss
lasts
your pill
forever.
line, you don't get your meds that day.
And nobody wants to stand on that pill line.
And nobody wants to stand in it.
especially at 3:00 in the morning, like if you.
Well, no. They don't do 3 o'clock in the morning pill lines.
No, but they do it.
Not where we are.
We did it for
We
like
did it
the.
3 times a day.
Well, we did it for the diabetics. You know,
Right. Well, see, with our diabetics in Marysville, if I'm not
They
mistaken,
give us snacks and stuff.
they get snacks and stuff
And we
that's
can
kept
do
at
the
the
take-home
CO's
meds.
desks.
Right. And we can do take-home
And
medications
also,
on
when
our
we're
bunks.
released from the penitentiary, they do send us, if we're on meds while in there, they send us home with so many days' work.
But I'm talking about, like, after I had Crohn's disease. I do have Crohn's disease. So I had to take medication all day long. So after they trusted me for a while, they let me get my meds once a month.
And then
I could
put them in
it
your
my
box.
and hopefully no one would steal them. Or try to get, I wouldn't sell mine, but some people would. I mean, it just depends. But
I mean, you got a lot of diseases being spread in the
yes.
prisons.
Yeah, you do.
Because I know being in admissions, when we would sneak and smoke, and I would know that the person had Hep C or TB, and they would ask to hit my cigarette, I'd be like, no.
See,
or
I was
you
like,
like
I don't
smoke
care.
and drink after each other.
But there's women and men in the penitentiaries that won't tell you that they got shit.
Yeah, they won't.
Or they don't care because.
They don't care because they're dying. So why not make you suffer too?
Yeah.
I mean, and after everything I've been through being raped, I've been raped with a candle.
What kind of violence have you experienced as far as when you were working?
When I was working, I was raped with a candle a few years ago.
You have a date finally, Alan? I love it.
I was raped with a candle. Then after I got back to where I was supposed to be at, the guy I was seeing beat the brakes off of me. I had to be carried to a safe spot to get myself together and to get checked and to take a hot bath in order to soothe some of the pain.
Mm-hmm.
I've been drugged. That's the main 2 things that's happened
Yeah.
to me. And it's because, I mean, I tend to hold my own.
Yeah.
I always have.
How old were you when you started getting abused? Do you think?
When I started getting into domestic violence situations, I was 17.
Me too.
When's the first time you started maybe basically like survival sex and did you ever have issues like that as a kid?
I
Your
mean-
parents intact families or
I was molested at the age of 5 by my grandfather.
and what happened with that? Were you
My mom noticed a bruise on my thigh, on my inner thigh. When I told her what happened,
She
I had to
told you.
recant my story because my grandma.
because she didn't want anything happening to grandpa?
My mom knew, though, I was telling the truth
Wait.
because my grandfather had done it to her.
Do you feel like your barriers were broken down?
Why would your mom let you be around your granddad by yourself?
She didn't know she thought that I would be safe because my uncle, her baby brother, was in the house and in another room. So she thought I was safe.
Well, obviously not.
But
But you
after
still love
that,
your mom.
I to a point, I have issues with my mom
So
to
do I.
this day.
How about your father?
Which one?
I don't know. I mean, like
Yeah, I know which one.
Wait, what do you mean, like which one?
My biological father drugged my mother when she was 15, took her virginity, and got pregnant with me. She don't remember that night at all. He tried to be in my life after she had me. She told him no because he was a heroin addict. She found out he used drugs. I met him finally when I was 21 years old, after I had my son. Had introductions with him twice, once by myself, once with my son. And at the same time I was on my way to the penitentiary, he was on his way to the penitentiary.
Yeah.
I was raised by my mom's first husband. He came into my life at the age of 2. He adopted me at the age of 8 and gave me his last name. My mother had 2 other children with him. I have a sister who is dead. She was a stillborn. My mom had gotten toxemia.
Yeah.
She was born in '88, and I have a brother, like I told Amy, that is doing rehab right now. My brother was so bad on heroin, he was shooting up in his forehead because he just wanted to die. Because his dad, which is the one that adopted me, died while I was finishing up my prison bid. I was in the halfway house when they called and told me my dad fell over with a massive heart attack.
Can I, real quick, because this made me start over again? So I'm just going to say, you are...
I'm John Meekins, and I do a lot of work with prostitution research and human trafficking all over the United States and also internationally. And I'm here with Amy, and we're talking to...
and how did you find me?
I found you on... I was actually looking at the Ohio Reformatory for Women, and I found you on YouTube.
Okay.
And you were singing Unwritten.
Unwritten, because I love that song. It's from my Tapestry program. And you are a corrections officer?
Yeah, in Florida.
In Florida. We're not going to say where.
We're not going to say where. We're not going to say what prison.
No, we're
or
not
what
going
agency.
to. That's right. But at the end of the day, you are going to be writing a book.
Yeah, I'm writing. I'm talking to 2 publishers. For a publisher right now, I'm going to be doing a book on human trafficking for correctional people.
And you're not afraid.
And criminal justice, and I'm not afraid.
And also, you are Judge Herbert. You love him.
Yeah, he's one of my heroes, and a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, there's a lot of my ideas are spreading, and they're being adopted at the national level through the Department of Justice.
Right.
And they're going to be adopting a lot of my ideas
and one more thing.
And I got them from Judge Herbert, a lot of them.
You got them from Judge Herbert, I feel you. Now, one more thing. The girls in the prison. I have a corrections officer I write about in my book called Mr. Morgan.
Yeah.
And you remind me of Mr. Morgan, and you get called by your fellow coworkers sometimes Thug a Thug because you treat the inmates with respect.
Yeah, I'm not...
Can I steal one of your cigarettes?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not in... I don't work at a prison to abuse anybody. I'm actually there to... feel like maybe my job really is reentry.
And see, and maybe if we had prison guards like that here for the women, some of our women would be a little bit more open when problems arise because we don't have guards like that.
I've been told that if I quit my job that there'll be women there that have no other positive male role models in their lives.
But you are going to quit. You're going to leave
I'm
after
going
12 years.
I'm going to leave. I've been doing it for 12 years, but I'm going to do it bigger. I'm already
doing
it big.
You're going to help a lot.
Yeah. If you think I'm doing it big now, if you Google my name, John Meekins, and sex trafficking, it's John Meekins, Meekins, and human trafficking, you'll find that I'm all over the internet, and I've been to Arizona. I've been to...
And you do know the Ohio State Fairgrounds actually opened up a thing this year.
For human trafficking?
For human trafficking.
Contract or what?
No,
I've
the
done
Ohio State Highway Patrol. There was a woman that actually came forward to ask for help. It was on the news and stuff.
But wait, let him finish his intro real quick.
And I do a lot of work with the...
You do internationally and national.
Yeah, I've worked with the... the Rule of Law Project in Iraq, which is a European Union funded program for on the human trafficking and the prison systems in Iraq, and I've actually found that
Amen.
they started reading my articles to the corrections people in Iraq, and initially they said, well, that doesn't happen here, and then at the end of the training they came back and they said, yep, it does.
Yep, it does.
And every prison that I've ever been to where I've talked about human trafficking, they all said, well, it doesn't happen here. And then as soon as I leave, they email me back or they call me back or they say, hey, we found it goes on in our prison too. Hey, as soon as you got done, some of the girls came forward and they started talking to us. And so if there are people that are in a jail or in a prison setting, I really urge you to talk to your fellow CEOs about getting into
Why would they? The CEOs treat us like shit. There's only a few there. You mean we find the ones like you and
yeah, you got to find the needle in the haystack.
Yeah.
But they're not all bad. But,
no, they're not. But most of them don't.
You gotta find the officers, not the guards. I'm a corrections officer. I'm not a guard. So you gotta find the officers.
What do we have there? Is there some officers that?
I would call them more guards than officers.
So would I. We call them guards, don't we?
I'm more about the professionalism. I have a lot of training on gangs, human trafficking. I'm interested in helping the youthful offenders. We have women in my prison that start out at 14. As young as 14.
Actually, we got women younger than that. We have a special dorm
And all they are is youthful offenders.
They got rid of the juvenile dorm.
Oh,
Now the
did they?
juveniles have to live with everybody.
And see, and they're not supposed to do that.
I know.
There for the longest, the juveniles had their own special dorm
Yeah.
to separate them.
But
The
then they...
door, the building fell apart, so they had to put the juveniles everywhere.
Okay.
And did the juveniles really... Is it hard to keep them apart from the GP, the general population?
They want to be with it.
I mean, they already feel like they might as well be with us.
Right.
Because they feel that since
We
they're being
protect
tried
them.
as an adult,
Yeah.
they might as well be treated like an adult.
Yeah.
But
I would be-
but you've got some of the women in our prison system that don't think like an adult and still want to fight these young girls
Yeah.
and not think that this could be your daughter.
Yeah, out of order.
I
She's
have a
role
17-year-old daughter, and let me tell you, let her go to the penitentiary under the age of 18, and one of them touch mine, I'm coming up in there.
That's right.
Let one of these guys touch my son, and I'm coming. Because that's my child. And any other woman that's a real woman is going to be like that with hers. Because these girls that's coming into our penitentiary under the age of 18, they're someone's daughter. They're someone's sister.
I'd say that you are anyway, even though you're 34.
Regardless.
Yeah.
And that's what I have to tell all these girls out here that I come across and I try to talk to. I already know what you're doing. I already know what you're going through. Been there, done that. There's ways to get out of it. There's people out here that can help you.
What's a suggestion you would tell somebody that maybe that you... Where would you tell somebody to get out of it if they're out here?
Normally, if they really are serious about getting help, I call Amy.
Yeah.
I go to Amy first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Are you
young lady
familiar-
the woman that you met earlier, her son was one of the ones I called you about a couple months.
And,
you
and
can
I
always-
go to Missy for certain things.
Or you can always call the National Human Trafficking Resource
Well, I
Center.
mean, you know, we're right here, and they're how far are they?
Yeah, they're...
Our people want one-on-one communication.
Yeah.
They don't
These
just
girls
have
out
phone numbers.
here,
But we will do that. We would love to, you know, network with them. But literally,
Yeah.
they want to come to our house. They want to talk to us. They want to hug us. They need support. They need someone to communicate with them, and we will do it.
Yeah.
We're not afraid. I don't care if you have a gun. They know this on the west side. The kids out here that have a gun, they call Miss Amy, and Miss Amy will come on out here, and we'll pray. We'll hold hands. There'll be blood and cribs. Missy did it with me on the phone. I have a recording of it, and you know, they'll throw down their flag out their arms because they know I give a flying shit because I do.
I just want to make it very clear that I'm John Meekins, and I'm here in Central Ohio, and I want to make it very clear that I'm not a professional investigator because
Right.
Everybody's always reminding me that I'm not. So I don't know if I could be a professional researcher, but you know, I'm not really getting paid. But I'm just I did watch. I just
No,
stayed
we're
at
not.
Holiday Inn Express last night. So how about that?
You did?
Yeah,
You should
so-
see the Hotel Motel. I'm gonna play Pitbull for you.
Yeah.
I've been doing the same thing. Missy and I have been living in. Where have we been? We've been everywhere.
I gotta go check my car.
look,
make
I
sure
got
it's
so
not
many
open.
points racked up with Wyndham Rewards.
I know I should have points too, but I don't have a way. It was in other people's
I had
names.
to register.
My identity was stolen when I was in prison, and someone went on a shopping spree at the Limited. So, and I certainly did not go buy underwear at Victoria's Secret when I was in prison. It wasn't an incentivized program to go shopping at the Limited in prison. So I can't get a freaking credit card right now.
Look, we was wearing granny panties in prison.
I know, but in the men make in Ohio, the men at OPI and the prisons make our triangle bras and our granny underwear, but the lifers way back when you said
You know what actually
Why do
cleared
the
my
men make the bras and
look.
underwear?
You know what actually cleared
Out
my
of
mind
order.
though and made me
I want to go
behave
check
when
on my car real quick. Can you hold this?
I'm gonna drop it. I break everything. I'm a brilliant airhead.
All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go make sure nobody's breaking into my
All right,
car.
I'm gonna sit here and talk to
All
you.
right. Hi, I'm John Meekins, and I'm just doing some human trafficking research. If anybody's interested, you know, just the kind of stuff that I do, some prostitution. I'm just trying to talk to some real live people who've been there, done that. And I know that there's people that don't believe that maybe it's voluntary, or some people do believe it's voluntary, but I'm talking to some people here in Ohio that have done it. And
when I lost my husband. My best friend, my right hand, that was my rider. That man would walk from the west side of Columbus, where I'm at right now, to 161 in Cleveland, to get me from work when my back would act up and I didn't feel like driving the car home. He would walk to bring me food because I'd forget my lunch at home because I'd be rushing out the door to get to work.
And I was cheering them on because she is my sister. So
This past Friday,
I'm in shock.
August the 5th, would have been our 3-year wedding anniversary.
Right.
And I had to tell him happy anniversary in a box.
There he is. There's Jeremy. That's
His
all we have
name's on
left
the
over
box.
him. There's Jeremy. There he is. We love you, Jeremy. But you still feel it, him here, the pit bull that is a therapeutic dog. He can see Jaren in there. You can tell your dog or she. And then
Her name is Haley.
I'm sorry.
She's a rescue.
She's a rescue. Okay.
I rescued her when I got her.
Now, Misty, I just got out of. I've been in many violent, abusive relationships, unfortunately. So everything you're saying is hitting home with me. I mean, because I met when I got out of prison, the Alvis house where I was sent me to AA meetings with all the guys from the CBCF, and I swear I was all about getting my kids back. I wanted nothing to do with any man. I could care less. And this guy just would not leave me alone. He would not leave me alone. And finally, I started dating. Next thing I know, he's on crystal meth, bath salts, heroin. He's fucking.
I mean, don't get me
head.
wrong. I'm not no saint, and
No,
I've
you're
never
not.
claimed to be a saint.
Right.
Do I smoke weed? No, because I go to pain management. I just had a scare with breast cancer. I got cleared of that last Thursday. The spot that they found on my breast ended up being an abscess because I let someone pierce me in the comfort of my own home, trusting them. My body,
That's the guy I was gonna.
well, mind you though, she did 2 other piercings. I have not had no trouble with those. They said it's just my body rejected it. My body was not taken to the metals. It's not. I took them out, and that's when I noticed the knots. Scared me to death. I cried. I spoke to my mother. My mother had told me that she wanted me to come home. One thing I can say about my mother, though, no matter what we've went through over these years, believe me, I regret everything I've ever put my mom through.
I
From
do
the time
too.
I've been a teenager until now, I've put my hands on my mom.
I have not.
I've blacked her eyes at the age of 15. All because of unruliness. But one thing for sure, 2 things for certain. When my husband got murdered, my mom and stepdad stated to me, if it wasn't for your son, we would be there strapped and packing and ready to blow anything back to protect you. My mother, the day my husband got murdered, my mom was in the hospital having a heart attack. So not only did I lose my husband, I almost lost my mom at the same time. And my son had to become a man in a matter of minutes because he had to make sure his grandma was okay, but also he was calling his mommy every 5 minutes to make sure I didn't do nothing stupid. And back in December, when I wanted to end my life, the only words my mom could say to me was, I respect your decision. If that's what you feel you need to do to be with him, then do it. I respect it. My mom had my back on my decision to try to kill myself because depression had took over.
Right.
And there's been so many days in the last year that I've wanted to just say, fuck everything. Fuck it all. I ain't got shit else.
Stop it.
My son is good. My son is in beautiful hands.
And he won't come to Ohio. He doesn't want to be near here.
He's in Ohio, but he
doesn't
will
want to
not
be near
come to
Franklin
Columbus.
County. No,
He
nobody
will
wants
not
to.
come to the
And
city.
your daughter's where?
My daughter is in Washington State.
Washington State.
My daughter will be 18 in October. She can make her own decisions. Do they call me every day? Yes. My children call me nonstop. My babies are on it.
What gets us through? Prayer, music,
But not so much prayer for me
or music.
because I lost my faith.
Right.
When my husband got taken, I lost my faith because I begged God that day that he just let him live. I didn't care if he had to be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. All I wanted was him to live. When that detective came and told me that he didn't make it, that was it.
But people need to know what gets them through.
But
What gets you through.
knowing that my mom,
Right.
no matter what I've done to her,
Right.
My mom has took phone calls from me at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning knowing she's got a heart condition. She's a full-blown diabetic, almost went into a diabetic coma. My mother still will wake up the minute she sees my number, no matter what time it is. My mom picks that phone up and will sit there and me not speak and just cry and scream.
Just somebody listening to you.
There's nights
Your mom.
that my best friend Carla has been there and she's gotten narcolepsy. She can be sitting and talking to me and 5 minutes later I look over and she's knocked out. But she's set, and the minute she sees my number pop up in the wee hours of the morning, she grabs her phone just to hear me scream and yell, because there's nights that I can't handle it. There's nights that I don't know whether I'm coming or going.
Me too.
But I think that him dying has brought forth a strength in me that I never knew I had.
That's right.
And I never knew that I could be this strong. And I hear people talk about all the time, oh, my husband died. I'm a widow. Your husband died from natural causes. My husband was 28 years old, shot in the heart. They said he would have made it, but the bullet grazed his main artery.
And she was in the store just going
And
in
I
there.
was
His
at
father's
the
there.
countertop. I had just told my husband 3 minutes.
I'll be right back. I'm going in there.
I'll be right back. I love you, Goofy. We were laughing. We were joking.
Right.
He had his natural ice in the back seat. I was picking up a beer for a friend of ours where we were going for dinner.
You just randomly stopped there. You almost didn't stop there.
And the funny part is, we weren't even supposed to be up there that day.
And you don't even live in that area.
No,
Or
we
you
lived
didn't.
on the west side. And the day he got killed, we were actually supposed to be here at the house I'm in right now with our landlord, having dinner for Father's Day and drinking tequila.
So this way, I mean, you never know what's going to happen.
So you don't know from 1 minute to the next. So my word to anyone is, when you walk out that door, whether you're in a relationship, men, women, men, when your woman tells you that she loves you, don't just say okay.
Right.
Understand she's telling you that, because guess what? You can walk out that door and it's all gone. It was a 3-minute frame.
In a 3-minute frame.
3 minutes from the time I said I love you and I picked up the phone and called and asked my people what type of beer they wanted, to me calling back and saying, oh my God, he's been shot. My people thought I was joking.
Right.
They
I
thought
didn't
I was
think you were
playing a
joking.
game. That I was trying to be funny and being playful that day, to lean up on what was going on with my mother. That wasn't even the case. My husband took his last breath in front of me.
And when you could not...
Have I downward spiraled since then? Yes. Yes. There's days from June 21st until now that I don't remember. I don't remember certain days. Why? Because cocaine and alcohol. New Amsterdam was my best friend.
And she shares that on your face. And when Misty calls my name, I mean, you know, and when I call her name on Facebook, we use Facebook as our network because we don't have. But I mean, how many days do you wipe the blood off of yourself? And you
It was
didn't want
24
to.
hours.
Right. But when me and Steve Levine came over, Steve Levine and I, was that the day of?
It was the morning after. That morning, I had to wake up and call his boss to tell his boss he would not be to work because he got murdered. His boss lost it.
And your house has been shot up, you've been threatened.
It wasn't my house, it was my little sister's.
Okay, because that was where it began.
My little sister's
Before
house
the
got
shooting.
shot up, and it was just strange, and the reason why they thought it had to do with me getting ready to testify, and it was gang-related, was because a week after my husband was murdered, I was due to testify against a head gang member
Right.
of the opposite gang.
And why are you brave enough to do that?
And like my husband had told everybody, I'm gonna let her testify, but when you touch her,
Oh, go ahead.
Amy,
What?
that's
She's knocking over all the beer.
alcohol abuse.
She's knocking over all the beer.
Amy is in violation.
I know, yeah, shut up.
Look,
Out.
Amy is in violation. She's
Arrest-
knocked over 2 beers.
Cuff me up. I haven't even had 3 sips of beer. I can't help
And
that.
you've knocked over 2.
I'm listening
I-
to you.
So
come
we're gonna
here,
do
Misty.
who we are.
Hold on,
now.
I was-
All right, let's
Let's
all
get rid
introduce
of this.
ourselves.
This has been a VR document.
I'm John
forever.
Meekins, and I'm coming to
Oh,
you
I
live
know.
from Columbus, Ohio,
Do it again.
and we're doing a little research on just.
My phone's dying.
So what are we doing? We're doing criminal justice.
We're talking about what could have made it better for us behind bars. We're talking about how you get into a gang.
Everything,
Earlier,
like,
we're talking about a post-traumatic stress disorder. We're talking about...
and a lot of these people, a lot of these young kids don't realize, in order to get into a real life Crip gang,
Yeah.
in order to get into a real life blood gang, Pyru,
What do you gotta do?
whatever, the females, you either gotta be fucked in. That means not by one or two. You're getting fucked, and a train ran on you by 20 to 30 different men at one time. They're going at you back to back. You gotta stand in a circle and get beat the fuck down for God only knows how long until you fall.
How old were you?
Or you can do what I did.
Commit a crime.
I married an OG.
Marry an OG.
And guess what? I bore his only son out of 8 kids.
Is he a drop?
Huh?
Is he considered a drop?
He's an OG. He's
No, but the kids are blessed in.
I was blessed him because I married him.
Yeah.
I married him at the young age of 19.
What do you think of the song All the Way Up that all the kids are dancing to and the kids are... I love that song.
I haven't heard it.
I'm all the way up. Nothing can
Oh.
stop me.
I mean, you kids are out here like you guys are glamorizing this.
Right, but the teachers in the grade schools are singing this to all the kids. And I mean, I like that song because it has a powerful message.
Right, but my whole thing is you kids are glamorizing this. Guess what?
So hip-hop rap...
There's nothing glamorized. There's nothing glamorous about this.
Sure.
About these streets.
There's nothing glamorous about this, in my opinion.
These streets out here, this is the hilltop. This is the west side of Columbus. Nothing glamorous about this out here. Nothing. Do you think I like sitting on my porch and I gotta see hookers walking up and down my street? I won't even bring my kids here. I got dope fiends living next door to me. Not knowing if my shit gonna get shot up because they done pissed off the dope man. I've been out here, I've sold crack, I've sold heroin, I've sold ecstasy, I've done it all. But guess what? These streets, you only gonna end up, truthfully, 1 or 2 places. Behind bars for the rest of your life, or you're gonna be carried by 6. And I've always been told I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Hell yes, Miss
And I
Lynn.
never, in 3 prison numbers, took my shit to trial. Never will I ever take something to trial.
Why not?
Because I'm gonna tell you, I don't want my peers to judge me because I'm gonna do more time than what I would if the judge just gave me my sentence.
I feel you.
My last bid, I was already in prison when they indicted me. I'd only been out 6 days when I caught my last charge. I was out 6 fucking days before they caught me in a stolen vehicle with over an 8-ball crack cocaine in my coochie. They could have got me for conveyance in the county jail, but they didn't charge me with it. Instead, they charged me with possession. When they brought the indictment back, my judge had to shut the cameras and everything off to tell the prosecutor they fucked up. Because I was looking at, according to my lawyer, finishing up my 10-month sentence on August 22nd, 2011. Or no, August 22nd, 2007. And then turn around, or no, 2008, I apologize, my years are messed up.
That's okay.
2008, and then turn around and start another 15-month sentence with a 4th number. These streets ain't what's up. All you females out here thinking it's cool to be on Backpage,
What about the...
to be out here letting these men just pimp you for your body. I've been almost 4 months without doing anything with any man. It's not worth it. I've learned my body is my temple.
Hell yes, I said that last
yeah,
night.
that's what I'm talking
And
about.
not just that,
It's the most
I
precious.
want you women to think about something. And you men, every time you sleep with someone, not only do you sleep with that person, but that person sleeps with everyone you've slept with. You sleep with everyone they've slept with. It's called exchange of energy. Every time they release into you, or you release onto them, you're exchanging that energy. You keep doing that and you don't pray that shit off, you ain't never gonna be faithful. You ain't never gonna have a real relationship. These relationships that y'all calling relationships, that ain't shit.
Manipulation.
It's not nothing. I'm on the hilltop of Columbus, right where I was when my husband got murdered. It ain't nothing out here. Nothing.
Thank you for keeping it real, Misty.
You guys are going to keep playing with these guns, and guess what? A bullet don't have no name on it. Bullet has no name. Y'all go shooting into these motherfucking houses. Y'all go shooting up people's houses and shit. Guess what? Y'all hitting innocent babies. Because I got news for y'all. One of them bullets hit mine, I'm coming for everyone. Because when it comes to mine, that's what made me change. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it wrong. I'm still hood. I'm still street. I'm going to keep it all the way 100. That's the only way I know how to keep it. But I'm going to be there regardless. I know what these streets are about. I've got 3 penitentiary numbers. I've been charged 18 felonies, 6 convictions. I'm known out here for forging and selling dope. I'm known out here for getting money. But guess what? There comes a time and a place when you grow the fuck up. It's time to fucking grow up. Worry about your kids that your mama raising. Because believe me, I don't feel too good about myself that my mama raising my son. But I'll tell you one thing. At least I was woman enough, and I can say I'm a damn good mom. Because before I let it get out of control, I handed him to her. He's never been in the system, never been touched by the system, and never will he be. Because why? I was woman enough to see that I had a problem. I had an issue, and it wasn't his fault, and I wasn't about to bring him down with me. So he got left.
So what do you think that they need to do to change their situation? Like, how about going to school or maybe something like that?
Go to college, get your GED. I have a GED, I've got college time under me. I just don't have enough financial aid to finish.
Right. What if you're high as a kite? Like, what if you're not as smart as you and I are?
I mean, I got told a couple weeks ago I'm one of the most intelligent, smartest women someone has ever met.
You are.
And you're in prison.
And I've
In
been
and
in
out
the
of prison.
penitentiary.
But you're the smartest person that a lot of people ever met. And there's so much talent behind bars, isn't there?
Yes.
Incredible
I have
talent.
fiber optic glass and cable. I'm a fiber optic glass and cable technician. I got my certificate while I was in the penitentiary. What you guys see these guys doing on the cable poles, I can do that.
There's the cable
I
pole.
just can't get a job in the company because I got a felony. They don't want to hire me.
You got felony.
I have a felony, so they won't hire me to do what these
So
guys
what the prison system taught you? Now you can't connect out here?
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So all the taxpayers are investing in that. Where's the connection? Tell me.
It's gone.
It's gone.
But
the follow.
every night when I go to bed,
Yeah.
I lay in my room and I hear sirens all night long.
I know. You
And gunshots.
Not so much gunshots here recently. During the 4th of July, there was more gunshots than before.
Right.
So what are the, let's do a little review. What are the
Real
some...
quick, I gotta pee.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah, she has to pee. Oh, gosh.
Anyway,
Well, here's okay, what
again,
are we doing?
I'm John Meekins, and I'm here in the Bottoms, which is, where are we in
We're, in
Columbus?
we're on the hilltop.
All right, do your, where are we? Okay, I'm
Okay,
John Meekins.
we're in one of the most, dangerous parts of my town in Columbus, Ohio. Right now, I mean, National Geographic was just here, CNN, Drugs Inc. Have you heard of Drugs Inc.?
No.
Okay, well, you need to watch it if you can. But anyways, we're the hilltop, and this is a lot of my amazing friends live here, but it has been infiltrated by crime, drugs, heroin, dope houses, crack houses, and Misty and I are interventionists.
Mm-hmm.
She calls me when somebody really wants help. She'll reach out to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll come right to her. And at the end of the day, here she comes. I'm just here. We're not afraid. We are not afraid. We're standing right here where everyone can hear us and see us. And we're no snitches. We're no,
Yep.
which is a bad word in our our culture.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we just want to be here if people want to get better, and we're trying to let them learn from our mistakes.
Did you take your belt off?
And I'm not
My
here.
belt off? It
Yeah,
fell
that's your
off.
belt. Yeah, and
Out
I'm
of
not
order.
here, and I'm here because
You're here because why?
I'm doing research on I'm doing criminology.
And this was impromptu. I mean, I literally,
Yeah.
he just called, and he's one of my heroes, but he lives out of town. So,
So anyway, I wanted to get with somebody who's not in it for the She ain't working for no dub. She's
I don't
in it
make
for the
any
hunted.
money.
She's in it for the hunted.
Yeah.
The whole hunted.
I'm in it for, to betterment of society and all human. I mean, I'm a human rights activist. So simply, I work with all countries. I have Pakistan Reentry reaching out to me, and I would go there if I could and throw some protests at those prisons.
Yep.
Because the way they treat people behind bars, not like human beings, it makes us come out way worse. It's god awful. And I like Misty, I have PTSD, survivor's guilt. I mean, I could go on, and I'm not going to. I wrote a book about it. So.
What's the name of your book?
From Privilege to Prison, which I did not want that to be the name of my book. It originally was Miss F, the Twizzler, and the Kangaroo. I'm the kangaroo, but now it's From Privilege to Prison. I lost my intellectual property rights through signing a bad contract with a Christian publisher from Iowa. So everybody, keep it real when you're writing a book, and make sure you have a lawyer look at your.
Yeah. Hey.
I was just letting you know the last little bit of beer that was in the two bottles you dropped. I